Hello there. I might have mentioned in some of my blog posts that I've been working on some digital products. I was very kindly gifted a copy of, well, the Photoshop 6 program. And I've been working quite hard at getting some digital bits and pieces. I want to make a journal. I wanted to contribute some journal for my eldest grandson and calling it Journey, so I wanted to put some map and travel sort of themes into it. So I've been working on that and doing some papers and altering tags and just playing with the program, learning how to come to grips with it. It's been quite a journey. This little one I think is actually an image from, and some of these other papers are from the Graphics Fairy. So I've been downloading those and altering them. Some of the paper, oh, and that's the same paper as that little tag. It's got the same chandelier on it, just different sizing. These envelopes are actually from Genevieve Designs, the template for those. And what I did, I just printed out on some of the papers that I'd altered, printed them out onto her templates and cut them out. And some of those are for including in that journal, and others are just really playtime and learning how to manipulate the programs. These are the ones I was quite pleased with. I've seen quite a few, what are they called, fry box sort of shapes, and I thought it might be interesting to make a different shape for putting tags, particularly in a small journal. And I haven't put the file folder on the back of those yet. What are they called? System cards. I usually put that on the back to put some lines, but I haven't done that yet. Inked them up. There's some moths and things in there. They're rather obscured. Put a little butterfly on the front of that one. I thought it was quite a nice shape, and the tags sort of sit sideways in it, which will be quite nice in a small folder, a small journal. This little one I scanned in some music paper that I had and cut that out. Sprayed it, inked it, just to get that nice colour. This one had digital images, and I altered the paper, the colours in Photoshop, and applied the images and printed them off, and I was quite pleased with those. I quite like the way they've turned out. Again, I haven't finished those quite. And this little one was just some map pages. It was on rather flimsy paper. When I printed it out, I'd run out of the cardstock, so I printed it out on thin paper, but so I coated it with the Liquitex glaze, and I've yet to finish off those tags. But I've been having quite a good time, and I've got lots of sheets of paper now altered and coloured and ready to go. So getting a few bits and pieces. I've almost got enough to of a similar theme to put together as a journal. So that's been a lot of fun. Certainly keeping me quite busy. The other thing that we've been doing quite some time ago, probably 12 months, 18 months ago, Chris and I started fiddling around in Inkscape and trying to work out the program and designing a few cards. We did an owl, we did a dog, various other bits and pieces. This is the dog we did. This was just one of several templates. He's got a lovely long tongue in there. He had a few problems. He's been a bit tattered, he's been tossed around. I made a few, I made smaller ones and played with it, but every time I've used it, I've made one and given it away, the recipient, and particularly children, love it. They love his long flippy tongue. And he just stands up. You have to fold his ears down for putting him in the envelope, but then you just flip them up, pop them where you want them to go, give them a bit of a curl, and they're fine. Or it's quite a good card also for just popping down the side of a gift bag, inside a gift bag without an envelope if you didn't want to. Again, this one's just on floppy paper. He's been floating around, and I kept thinking I really must finish him off and put him on my blog, so that if anyone else would like to make a Bob card, this is Bob the dog, if anyone else would like to make one, he's there for them. So anyway, that's what I've done this last weekend. I've sat down and we've made, with a bit of help from my son. So what we've got 3 different file types. We've got an FCM for anybody wanting to cut one out with a Brother Scan and Cut. We've got SVG files because I believe some of the other cutting machines use SVG files. And I've also done a PDF, and it's a 3-page PDF. It's got 4 sets of ears, a small and a large pointy, a small and a large just floppy and long. It's got a nose piece, it's got 2 large eyes, it's got pupils, muzzle dots, a tongue. Page 2 has got the face or the front of the card, a message section for inside the card, and a throat piece. The 3rd page is just the card base, and it's got a small perforation which you won't be able to see along the top, and that's where the card is folded. So that's available, the PDF. What I've just printed this out in grayscale. I was running a bit low on colours, and I wanted just to see what it was like, and it's perfectly fine apart from the tongue, and you could easily give that a bit of a rub over with if you wanted to use the tongue, you could give it a bit of a rub over with just some pink distress ink or coloured pencils or Copics or anything really. If you're cutting this out by hand, you might like to use your small punches. I think that's what's that one? That's the 3/8. This one is the 1/4 inch, and that's probably the size I'd use. So you can use your punches to cut those out if you, like me, and really don't like fussy cutting. So that's available. This one, just to show you that if you wanted to do it for a girl, it's easy enough to tizzy up. I gave it a ribbon and a few little flowers. Most little girls like to dress up their dogs, don't they? And I thought, well, let's make it look a bit more feminine, because it really is quite a masculine looking card in all its plainness. Glossy accented the nose and used googly eyes for the eyes, just because. This one I really just printed this out on a fairly ordinary sort of cardstock. I wasn't intending to use it for anybody. I have gone around the edges with a bit of distress ink, I think both weathered wood and old paper I used on that one, just to give it a bit more definition. And inside you can see there's a nice floppy tongue, and there's a white sentiment panel. And in the past, when I've written on these, I've written underneath the tongue and just written it in a strip down there, or actually written it on the back of the tongue for using it for children. If you don't want to include the tongue, you've got plenty of space in there to stamp or write a letter. And you won't really be able to see it, but it stands up quite nicely. I gave my sister one of these ages ago, and I noticed last time I visited it's still sitting on her mantelpiece in her sitting room. So that's the little girly one. I'm getting ahead of myself here. There's 2 envelopes in, if you print off the SVG or the FCM files, there's 2 envelopes. I prefer envelopes without perforations. and I've made one there without perforations, but there's also one with perforations. This envelope isn't included in the PDF simply because it requires a 12 by 12 sheet of paper to get the sizing right. And because I don't like perforations, I've made these ones very small, but they're there and they're perforated enough, even on this paper, which is a little coated. It's got a sort of a shiny plastic coating on it. There's enough for the perforations to actually work. So you put your envelope together in the normal way, and as you can see, the ears do need folding. There's no adhesive on this envelope obviously, but you just fold the ears down, pop it inside and seal it up, and that works pretty well. The other thing, if you didn't have a cutting machine and you don't have access to those other files, would be to simply use, I had one here somewhere, a C6, I think it is, C6 envelope, which is this sort of size, and that's just a standard in metric countries. And so while it's a trifle large, the dog will sit in there, and if you use the smaller ears, you can leave them up. So that's that. That's the envelopes. And what I thought I'd do here is just put this one together so you can see what I'm doing. I've gone ahead and I've used, on this one, instead of the googly eyes or the black dots that come as part of the cutout, I've used a couple of, the homemade dots, melted pony beads. So I've put them on ready. I've worked out which of the 4 sets of ears I want to use. I'll use the large ones because they're my favourite, because that looks most like our old Bob. And I might just mark that perforation because, as I say, I don't like the perforations to be too deeply cut, and sometimes they can be a little hard to see. I'm using a bit of glue and double-sided adhesive, simply because it gives it a bit more oomph and attachment. It's very quick to put together, and as I think I said, I haven't yet had a bad reception from the little Bob card, and you can use for all sorts of occasions, and it always looks gorgeous. I haven't quite got that centred, have I? Never mind, it doesn't really matter. Now, you certainly don't have to do put the throat and the, got a bit of ink on that. What I do is run my bone folder and the ruler and just run it along the centre of the tongue to give it a bit of a groove, and then just curl it through your fingers like so, or again with the bone folder just very gently, and that gives it a bit of a lift at the end. I've put some adhesive on the back of that. Just put that there. I will put this little piece on, but you certainly don't need to. It was really just a bit silly. So this one I printed out on craft, but you can print it out on absolutely anything. Or if you're using a one of the cutting files, you can use any paper colour you like. If you're giving it to someone with a dog, you could get the colours of their dog to use. Would be fun. This isn't the nose that comes in the pattern. The nose that comes in the pattern is a bit smaller. You can see there. This one I just was trying different things, different shapes. So this is just an oval. Before I put that down, I'll just put this on. And also this was a little larger. You can really alter up the expression of your pooch, depending on where you place the nose and the eyes. And oops, I've got too much there. I had a little bit of Dimensional Magic that I used. I'd never used that before, but I bought it in a weak moment because I'd heard good reports. But I found, as opposed to glossy accents, and mind you, it's probably just what I'm used to, I found the glossy accents much easier to manage. This has got Dimensional Magic on it, and it's absolutely flat. It went nice and shiny, but it was absolutely flat. And also I was a bit disappointed. There was a lot of white residue came out, and I had to sort of fish it out with the end of a toothpick. I was a bit disappointed. And, oh, really? I forgot I put the tape on all of these. The way you position the eyes makes all the difference with his the way the card looks. I quite like that slightly quizzical, eyes close together, staring right at you sort of look. And that's really it. The card is now done and dusted. You can see there, he's got his mouth open, he's got his tongue flapping. And really what I like to do with ease is to bend one of them not downright hard, but it does stop, especially if you're putting it in the envelope. And with the second one, just do a quick pull through your hand, and there he is. You can go over the glossy accent with the, if you like, and also I suppose I should put them on as these little muzzle dots. Again, they're not absolutely essential, but I'll just pop them on, seeing as we're here, and I've got them cut out. So don't forget, there's my, I'll put that there when I'm putting these dots on so you can see it. There's my inkyfingers.com.au blog site. If you'd like to help yourself to one of those files, do feel free. Whoops, I'm putting way too much glue on there. New bottle of glue. I'm used to the old one, which was much more hesitant. There he is. Just let those dry. You can chisel them up, decorate them up, colour them up, do whatever you like. And as I say, you've got several different ear sizes. In fact, I found with these little ones, which make him look a bit like a bull terrier, and you put the eyes right down, he looks very like a bull terrier. Also, if you put the eyes wider apart and towards the side, and a very different nose, he looks quite like a cow. So, and with these bigger ears, he looks like a horse. So I'm sure you could make him into whatever animal you like. Well, anyway, that's it. That's me done. That's my digital adventures up till now. And as I say, it is on the website, on my website, and it's just under one of the tabs on the home page. You go right to the other end, away from the blog. There's a couple of others, box cards and things. Right at the end is, I think it's Inky Freebies, or Freebies, one or the other. And you just click on that, and that's where I'll be putting things from time to time. It's nice to finally have something to put in that little section. Anyway, I hope you come and download something and have fun, and I'd love to see what you make if you do decide to copy it off and make one. Alrighty, talk to you soon. Bye now.